Hello again, this is Mr. True. I'm going to redo my video about finding linear regression lines with the TI-NSPIRE. Now that I've got my new one and have the software, I bought the software that came with it and got it registered, now I can do actually screenshot videos, and I hope this is a higher quality video than the original one I posted up a couple of weeks ago. And I also found another tip for making residual plots I'd like to show you. So we're going to make a scatter plot, regression line, and a residual plot with a TI-NSPIRE. It doesn't matter if it's CX or CAS or just a black and white one. Doesn't make a difference. All these TI-NSPIREs work pretty much the same way. Okay, we are going to make a new scatter plot, a statistics scatter plot, which means we're going to do a new document, and I'm going to just move my finger around my own touchpad that's on my Mac. You'll be moving your fingers around this touchpad on the calculator and hitting the center button and making it click anytime you want to make a selection. Or you can just arrow down or up on that pad as well and hit enter. Okay, so we're going to make a list. We're going to add lists, and when you read a word problem in statistics, if you feel like there's an explanatory variable, like one variable is helping to cause, or it seemed to make sense to help affect the other variable, the explanatory variable should be on the x-axis. This is going to be just a bunch of generic numbers, so I'm going to come up to the top and hit X, and let's just put some numbers in here. I do have some to choose from that will give us a fairly reasonable looking graph here. So we're going to do 2, 4, and I'm going to speed this up with my own keyboard, 3, 1, 5, 2 and 8. And then on the other column, over here, we're going to put some y values in. And you do need to name these columns if you are going to make a scatter plot. And since you have the liberty to type whatever you want, use these keypads down here, this keypad down here, and put some name in that's relative to the word problem you're working on. Let's make that 1, 2, 3, 0, 7, 3, and 9. Okay, so we got a couple columns of information in here. Let's see what that looks like as a scatter plot. So I'm going to go to menu, or excuse me, no, I'm not. I'm going to add a page to my document. So I'm going to do Control, Page. I'm going to add a window for making a graph. And again, your hand will be moving over this pad here, and you're going to come to the bottom of the screen, click it to add an X, or whatever you defined variable you want to make the x-axis, and voila, the points move around like magic. Move your cursor over to the left-hand screen, click add a variable, do Y, and now we have a collection of points on a scatter plot, our bivariate quantitative data graph. Okay, we want to run a regression line through this. Well, you can make a regression line here by doing Menu, Analyze, Regression, and just show the linear regression line. Okay, well that's great, and here's the equation with the y-intercept and the slope, a+bx. But see, we don't have any correlation values, no r and r squared. How do we get that? You will get those by calculating your regression line back here on the first page. You can use your finger on the touchpad and highlight 1.1, or you could have done second and hit the left side of the keypad here, or touchpad. Okay, with you on this page, you can come to the top of any column. I usually pick the one right next to the points I'm using. Hit Menu again. Choose Statistics. You can go up here like this, or you could just tap 4. And then choose, okay, let's slow that down a little bit here. When you have windows that pop open that you don't necessarily want yet, you can hit the Escape button and it'll close all those back. You can use your keypad to move around here, or you can, again, like 4 says Statistics, so I can click on 4. Stat Calculations is 1, so I can click on 1. I want to make a regression line that models the one in our book, so that's a+bx, that's 4. And now this window pops up, and you do have to use your touchpad here with this menu. Highlight the arrow, choose whatever you want to be the x-axis, highlight the arrow, choose whatever you want to be the y-axis, hit OK, and voila. you have your regression line now that's the same y-intercept and slope as, of course, the previous page, or the page number 2. But now if you arrow down, you also have your r and r squared values. You also have your residuals here. I've yet to figure out how to get those saved into a list, but we don't really need to. If I hit Control over, there's my original graph with my regression line and my equation. If I choose Menu, I can do Window, Analyze, choose Residuals, and under Residuals, there's a couple things I can do here. I can show the residuals squared. Now this will look like your diagram does in your book. I'm going to click this label. It's kind of in the way. Move it over. Clicking that label would be done by putting the cursor over it and holding the center of your touchpad till the hand closes. And you can click and drag that out of the way. It'll show you how it's taken the residual values, which when you add them, they always add up to 0. So we have to square them to make a bunch of little squares. The sum of those squares we want to keep as small as possible. That's why this is called the least squares regression line. So you can look at those if you want to. Hit Menu, Analyze, Residuals. We can hide that. Now I want to show residual plot 2 ways. The way that I did my old video was Menu, which is still up by the way, Analyze, Residuals, and show the residual plot, and you can see the original graph and the residual plot together. Remember, your residual plot, you do not want to see any clear pattern. If it's random like this and it's a horizontal band, that helps to verify that the original graph was indeed linear. Well, you don't have to look at these on the same window, even though that is very, very nice. I can hit Menu, Analyze, and hide that. Now, how else can I do a residual plot? I can just cursor right on over here and click that open and change it from the Y that it was to stat resid. And now I've got a full screen residual plot if you prefer that, and the regression equation is still up there on the screen floating around. There's a horizontal band of points and showing that the data was indeed linear and that the linear regression line, seems to be a good fit in this situation. And if you want a separate residual plot and a separate scatter plot, of course, just do Control, Page, make a new data stats page, and again, add your X's and add your Y's. Every time you see me selecting again, that's you pressing and clicking the center of this pad. That is how you make a scatter plot and a regression line. Let's show that regression again. Oh, this is so easy. That's how you make a scatter plot and a regression line on a TI-NSPIRE with your original data. Now, another thing here, this is unsaved. If I wanted to save this, when you close it, it'll ask you if you want to save. Just hit yes and name it. I'm going to choose no, but as a teacher, check this out. I am putting in all the data that's in all the questions in my textbook, and I can just quickly open up any question I would like in class. And for you doing your homework, if you're just a student, if you don't have to throw this data away once you use it. Especially these stat books, they like to refer to previous questions in the book as you go through it. If you're using these Inspires, you want to save those problems, because some of these questions, you might be on question 35, and it makes you go back and look at question 7. Well, if you don't erase that data while you're going on, guess what? You can just go back, open it up, and keep working with it. So this is Mr. True. Enjoy your Inspires if you got them, and keep studying your stats. Do well.